So here we are once again. This is an epoxy pour I did. Here's the mold. I put some pigments in there to make it look like orange and blue. Not pigments, but dye. This is pretty well a bomb-proof pour. There's very, 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 very few bubbles in here because I used my pressure pot when I did this. You can see the crystals down here. I got those when I bought an epoxy kit. Now, when I did the pour, you got to do it like this, and you pour the stuff in there. One thing that, if I can get this off this stand, those crystals floated to the top. So when the epoxy was, when it was doing its epoxy thing and starting to get firmer, I put a little stick in there and tried to get some of the crystals to go in the side there, and you can see them in there. So, but what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to carve it, and just have fun. This, I don't see any other thing. I thought about carving a tree on each corner, but it's sloped back, and I think trees would try and take away the pyramid shape because I want it to look like a pyramid when it's done somewhat, still have the four corners or four sides. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to carve a wood spirit on each side. The warrior wood spirits of the wind, or the northwest, east, south. Before I get carving, I'm going to show you what I'm going to use to carve, because I'll be doing a little bit of voiceover. This isn't too much carving. Like, it's not really a carving video, but it is, but it isn't. But anyways, I don't know. I'm going to be using my Ram micro carver. This is the micro carver. You guys can buy the iCube. I believe it's $185 American. This is the faster one. This is brushless. This one's like $1,000. This spins at 50,000 RPMs, and the motor's inside the handpiece, right? So you don't have the flex shaft thing. So this is really comfortable. It's quiet. It's faster. And this is, like Stinnett Sticks uses these things. Just Carve Rob has one. Studio on the Lake has one. Wellsy Workshop Larry has one of these. This is a metalworking bit in here. Now, I've carved lots of this epoxy, and I figured it carves best with these micro motors. You can use your Dremel, don't get me wrong, it's just a little bit slower. And this is a metalworking burr in here. You see this one, how the point tip here is not sharp? Like this one here is pointy. I won't use one like this because when you're carving, that little pointy tip can leave like a little scrape in the wood, and it's hard to sand out. So I always try to use the ones, unless that's what I'm going for, like if I'm going to try and carve eyes and stuff, I'd use that tip. But this isn't going to be a crazy detailed carving. I just want it so you can see a face on each corner. So I guess the thing is, and also I'll be using diamond burrs to smooth it out. Aluminum cutting burrs work good too. Here's the metalworking burrs you get on Amazon. So, and then you get the aluminum cutters that are bigger cutters, but they're a bit more too aggressive for this epoxy. One good thing about carving this epoxy, when you got no bubbles in it, you can have bubbles in it too, is consistent. So there's no like hard spots or soft spots. Anyways, too much talking, more carving. Less carving, more talking. Okay, before I start carving, I want to say this stuff is super dusty. This is like this stuff's dustier than a dust storm in Egypt. I'm wearing long sleeves, 100% a dust mask, a good one. This one seals my face even though I got a stubbly, patchy beard, or stubble, whatever. I measured the noses, so the noses are all kind of on the same length. What I'm going to do is put the camera in the overhead, and I'm going to carve underneath these noses. This is what I suggest for the very beginning wood spirit carver. It pretends that this is 5.5 by 6.5 tall. Pretend this is a fence board post, like a 4x4, and you got this corner here like that. It's so easy to carve underneath here to get that nose to pop off. You just carve and remove some of the wood, the epoxy or wood. So just like, see the nose there? Then I'll just take that stuff away here. That's how you get the nose to pop off. So I'm going to carve in all the noses so I don't rub this pen off, and put a mark where the eyebrows are, and start carving and have fun. Crank the tunes. I'm doing a voiceover. Hi, Liz. Okay, for the very beginners, this is my dust collector table. Lots of the dust gets sucked in here into the shop vac in the closet. or a dust collector, I mean. So I have videos on my playlist on this because I get asked about it quite often. So here we go. Let's turn the fan on. Then Mike, I'm going to not have my dust mask on for a few minutes till I carve these noses in just so I can talk a bit. Then I'll put my dust mask on. Turn the fan on. And this is hooked up to a foot pedal. See, if you use a fence post, that's how fast you can get that nose to pop off. Look at that already. Lots more carving I got to do, but let's do another one. You know, I also want to say that the Kutzall bits or the saber tooth bits do work for the carving this too. But these not aluminum, sorry, metalworking bits cut the cleanest so far that I've used with this round micro carver. So see, look how fast the nose pops in. Boom, there's your nose sticking off the piece. Okay, this is sped up 2 times the speed. There's my 4 faces in there with the beards. Nothing crazy, really simple. I smooth that sharp edge on the top off. That's Scotch Brite. You see I cut it up there. I buy it by the box on Amazon. It's 3M. It's the best stuff I could find. This is a sanding mandrel. You buy on Amazon. I think you get like 5 for $10. You poke a hole through the Scotch Brite. You put the screw through it. I'm going to use a couple here. You screw it together, you tighten it up, and one thing you definitely don't want to do is run your Dremel full speed when you use this. That's lots of friction on your Dremel. If you run your Dremel full speed and use this, you will see your Dremel smoking within about a good 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or even just touch your Dremel and it was so hot. And that's all I do to turn your Dremel down to about quarter the speed, but that's all I do for sanding. Yep, thank God this voiceover's done. I'm somewhat happy with it so far. See how I've sucked the cheekbones in a bit? I wanted these wood spirits. There's no sense carving like crazy detail on this stuff because you're not really going to see it. So what I did with these eyebrows, I cut really deep under there. See kind of how they're different colors? So once we put the clear coat on that, that will really pop. I want to carve deeper under there a bit too. Underneath the eyes, see how I do the hollow eyes? I just carve up underneath the eyebrows. I don't carve straight in. I go up and try and get underneath there. So, this stuff is like carving. It sticks to everything. You see how it kind of blows around? It's like static stuff. So it makes a mess on the camera. It's just a messy stuff. So I got basically all the blocking out done. I think what I'm going to do now is let's get this thing to stop here. Stand by. Okay, that's better. So I think like off the eyebrows, like I said, I'm trying to keep this a pyramid shape. So I don't want to do too much deep carving in here. I'm just going to do like, say off the eyebrow, where's a pen? We will do like lines coming off here and then going into the Japanese kind of style stuff. You know, so this eyebrow the eyebrow hairs will actually go this way, so this one kind of has to come off. Do the same thing, kind of different opposite directions. So that's what I'm going to do for the top. You know, there's so many different burrs. The more burrs that you have in your arsenal, the better. Like here's a stone burr. I might run around, clean the cheeks up with this after. Diamond burrs. Got the football-shaped ones. You got the round ones. These diamond burrs are super cheap too. These work good for wood carving, but I usually don't have the patience to use these. But all the burrs that I basically use on something like this are non-pointy and round because you don't want to scrape inside the wood there. That means more cleaning and carving deeper. And I showed that. I showed this Scotch Brite pad on the sanding mandrel earlier. That's all I use to sand this, and then I put the epoxy on it after, but that's for later. This video is going to be too long already. Oh boy. All right, so that's what I carved. The beard hairs down here, I kind of put some of this stuff. You can see a little bit of the mixture in there. Just give it some, carry it on down here. I like this because it looks like there's a separate pyramid up here. There's so many ways to sand this. You can go down to fine grit, but who wants to spend 20 hours sanding this? Not me. This is not perfect, and it's fine. It's a friggin' carving. Like, there's so much AI, whatever it's called, computer generated stuff, 3D printer stuff, nooks and crannies and little carve marks in this is fine to me because, and this is not me trying to explain I'm taking the easy way out, because it lets people know that it's a real carving, right? And all I did is just sanded it with this Scotch Brite. That's it. Turn your Dremel down when you do this, if I didn't say that earlier in the video. So here's the epoxy. This is deep poured. You can pour this stuff 4-inch. So this is, what is it, the magic resin? This stuff, it's like, I think it's 3-to-1 or 2A, 1B. So it's 2-to-1. And it cures slower. So when it cures slower, it has a chance for the bubbles to rise out. Here's the pressure pot that I used. I think it's Vivor. I had to make some attachments and stuff there with just Carve Rob's help. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this to the bathroom and sink and wash all this white stuff off with warm water. Now, for the way I don't sand this that good, I only use a Scotch Brite. I've tried different things, like just spray clear coat. Like here's the Three Nose Wood Spirit. That's clear coat just with the spray. The only real way you're going to get this epoxy to get nice and clear and look shiny and good is by putting more epoxy on it. So I'm going to do a epoxy pour over this. I'm not going to film, but this is just arts and crafts stuff, basically like tabletop stuff. And this is just 1-to-1. You mix it 1-to-1. So all the beginning epoxy people, make sure you put your time in and mix this epoxy good. That's all I'll say, because if you don't mix it good, it's going to be friggin' a mess. This is probably about, I'd say, $25 worth of epoxy. So anyways, there's some basic spirit faces in the spirit pyramid. Now I'm going to go wash it off with the water, and I'll come back and show you. Okay, there it is with the water on it. You can see how fast it's drying. Like, that's already drying up right there. Anyways, so I like the way that looks on the inside. I'm going to do a reversed wood spirit one day. So you're looking at a flat piece and you see the wood spirit inside the epoxy. Also, I dropped it in the sink and I broke that friggin' piece off. It just pisses me off because I tried to be so careful not to carve the edge. I got more plans for this. So I'll get this epoxy stuff done, and you'll see how much more translucent it will be with the epoxy poured over top of it. I got all the epoxy mixed up. I'm not worrying about bubbles. I'm just got a paintbrush. I'm just going to get it on here quickly, slop it on, then hit it with the heat gun to get rid of any bubbles. So this is how you do the epoxy. Yep. All right, so it's now about, I'd say, a good week later. Here it is with epoxy pour over it. Now, I had to do it twice. It did any like white stuff you see on there like that is just dust from this room. When I did do the pour, it kind of took some of the sharp edges away from the faces. Well, because you're pouring a thick epoxy over top of it. So I like it. It's a lot smoother now, and it's pretty basic, but my goal on this one was to try and keep the pyramid shape. So you can see all like the details that I carved up here, how they kind of just smoothened out and almost not went away, but did go away, but didn't go away. Now, I did something else for this piece. I'm not just going to leave it just like this. I thought, why don't we do a Carving Fusion upgrade on it? So do I like it? Yeah, I do. I like it a lot. And I like how this part, how I measured the eyes, this part up top here, looks like it's a pyramid on top of the faces. So, but if you look at it from that view, like that face, and you see the side faces, yeah, I do like it. And the most important thing was it was fun to do. So let's get the Carving Fusion upgrade going here. We call it the Big L Carving Fusion upgrade. So this is a piece of wide grain cedar. I had it in my chainsaw tent. Any white stuff on there is just dust. This is the same cedar I carved all the Christmas trees out of. So I figured this pyramid needs a light. Now I did a few samples of lights. I had the LED puck lights. I put one in there. It didn't really work because you'd see the light shining through. You'd see the light itself reflecting on the back. So what I figured was the best was strip lights. I didn't like. It's not professional. The lights aren't glued in professional. There was some bug holes in this cedar. I just filled them up with some super glue there. I just carved it. I burnt it. I cleaned it with Scotch Brite, and there's the show Susie Bam, pooped her pants or whatever you call it. Now I've had this in my bedroom, set up in my bedroom for a good week and a half now, I think. So I kind of forget what I was talking about when I carved this. But this, when I was thinking about this base for this light, I had to carve it deep in there. I had to do the routering around the edge here, all right? Then I had to carve this deeper because if you had the lights super close to this piece, you would see the lights themselves. So I don't like it when you see the light, like it's hard to, the light, actually, long story short, I don't like it when you see the light itself in the carvings. So I had to carve this deeper. Then I glued the lights on the side. Now, when I was doing this, I said, you know what, man, like, this is kind of like, I thought to myself, this is something that a lady would like. And why don't we make it like, let's just put this up here. There. So why don't we just not carve a square base for it and make like a little bowl thing so a lady can come home, put her jewelry on here in this little bowl, right? I didn't carve it too deep, and it's smooth, so you can just scoop it, or you can put your change in there or something. So, but when I was thinking about that, I was talking to my good old buddy Larry Dibbs there at Wowsy Workshop, and I said, you know, those jewelry trees, before I had this done, okay, this is my mind's always going, I thought I ordered this jewelry tree off Timo. It's a piece of junk, actually, like, but I thought I was going to carve a hole in here and put it so a jewelry tree can sit in there, and then the lady can hang her necklaces or on there or whatever, and this light will make them shine up. But I'm getting rid of the jewelry tree, and this thing is just more of a waste of money. It looks like a piece of friggin' coral, actually, if you ask me. It's flimsy as all. So that's that. So this can be for a man or a lady. This is not a cheap carving. That's for sure. Another thing, too, I want to say before I hit the lights and turn off the lights and stuff like that, like I put blue and green inside this epoxy, that dye stuff. Now, the lights that I have here are color changing lights, like they change automatically, but the only really colors you're going to get out of this epoxy from putting the blue and green in here is blue and green colors. I'm fine with that. But I got another one of these pyramids going in the pressure pot right now. This is the deep pour stuff. And I'm going to do one that's clear, so you see the real lights coming through it and stuff like that, like the real colors. All right, so like say if red, when I turn the red on, all you see is a little bit of a red down at the bottom. and it's kind of really dark. It's but anyways, that's that. I spent a lot of time on this base. Actually, I spent a lot of time on this whole piece. This is not something that I would sell very cheap. That's for sure. And it sits in there perfectly with my router bit thing that I did. And there's the crack piece, or where is it? What side is it? There's the piece that broke off. I just epoxied it back on. So I think I'm babbling. Let's hit the lights, and 3, 2, 1, hit the lights. Before I get going anymore, when you're going to buy these LED lights for wood carvings or something like that, make sure it has like, so here's your thing here. The black there's the power. So make sure it has this sensor, because I can later on when I want glue this sensor back there, just hide it like that. And then you got the little remote control that comes with it too, right? So does that make sense to you? Sensor and this remote control sensors to that. So the lights are on. It's hard to see. Let's turn off these lights. It's not too dark outside yet, but anyways, now it's purple. So there's that red color. Now, when I look at this piece, I see see it just manually switches. When I look at this piece, I see like a face in here and a nose here. The next one I'm going to do is going to have a tree of life on each corner. There's that red again. So let's change some colors here. I'll show you my favorite color. So yeah, anyways, a tree of life. So there'll be a trunk here, the roots down here, and then the top of the tree up in the corner. Let's switch different colors here. I'll show you my favorite color. Is that the right way? Yeah. One of them looks really greenish and what's going on here? Oh, huh? Stand by. Okay, I got it. So this one is hard to see, but you can't really see the colors in here because of the camera. But it's blue down here, then it goes green up here, then it goes bright green. Anyways, you can't really see by the camera, I said. So there's the red color. It's pretty neat. Let's switch to green, which looks blue. That's blue, looks like it's green. And the white, damn it, I wish you could really see the true colors in this, because I did do the blue and then the green, so it looks blue down here and greenish up top. But that's it, everybody. Maybe if I turn the lights down a bit, you can see. Anyways, that's it. So the next one I will be doing will be the tree of life on each corner. I probably won't be filming, but I will do another base thing too. You know what I really want to do? I want to do one of these pyramids. Actually, I just ordered some more epoxy molds to do a rectangle one. I want to carve it, put lights down there, and have it in a cave with like skulls and wood spirits, all like the cave, all carved around it. So then the lights will shine up on all the cool things that I carve inside it. But that is a lot of friggin' work. But if you're having fun, what's stopping you? Carving Fusion, over and out. Don't shit your pants.